but also has I also filter it. No, we're live.
You got, sometimes there's a slight delay. There we go. And welcome to the second segment of Quantum Leap here. Dave and Corey, we're getting back in the swing here, and we're excited to bring on a longtime colleague of ours in terms of BNI in the BNI network. And she was actually um, the previous president of BNI for Visions of Exchange, which is one of the leading Oakland chapters. And she actually helped found that chapter with some other great people over there. And I'm going to ask her a bit more about her story in a short minute, but I just wanted to have Corey introduce himself and tell us how you know Eloise, if you don't mind, Corey. I know you've known each other for longer than we have, than I have. I've known her.
Yeah, hey, Cory not here, and I am.
Oh, you're muted, Corey.
I'm unmuted now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Um, and I am Cory Knott, and I am a business partnership coach with Cape Clean Coaching. And I have known Eloise. I'm not quite sure how long, but I became area director in Oakland around 2012. And that's when I started really getting to know most of the people in Oakland. I had met a few people before that as a facility director for a few chapters. But Visions of Exchange was one of the big active, happy chapters. And first you visit them. And I had belonged to a chapter in Oakland briefly that because I changed days, I had to make a jump. And so I jumped into Visions of Exchange. And so that's really when I met Eloise and various others, and saw how they ran the chapter. And it was a really, really good group, and close knit family of some of the people, and then it would just grow and grow and grow. And I was getting of that chapter briefly, for a year, and actively involved. But again, had to make a change when I wanted to change my category, and somebody else held on to it, and held on to his. Unfortunately, he left shortly after. Otherwise, I probably would have remained a member. And but glad to see you here, Eloise. And I know her as always a great resource for real estate, and easily referable to anybody who wants to buy or sell or anywhere in the Oakland metro.
Yeah, agreed. And I'm actually, you recently appointed me to the director consultant position for Visions of Exchange. It's not that recent now, probably coming up on like 8 months or something. And Eloise was the president of that chapter at the time. And she's just a great presenter and a great voice on a lot of things, and really a pillar of the community with some of her other colleagues in that chapter. And with that, I'm just going to have her tell us her story and what you do, Eloise, if you don't mind just touching on a little on your BNI experience too, just because I know we have a fairly wide viewership around Oakland from BNI.
But great, thank you. Good to have you, Corey, on this podcast as well. And thank you, David, for inviting me. I really appreciate it. My story, wow. My story in real estate started in 2004. Got laid off at a corporation, decided I was going to do something destination. So I started studying real estate, got into loans and hated it. So I decided to be a real estate agent, who I was there 8 or 9 years until that company in Oakland left. And then I went to work for KW in Danville, and I also went to work for KW in Walnut Creek. I started BNI around the same time I got into real estate. My husband said I should start a BNI group. I went to visit their chapter, Success Links, and I thought, this is interesting. However, I did jump in, got all the paperwork from Trey McAllister, and started knocking on doors, calling people. And I met Del Marie. That's how I met Del Marie, because my husband already knew Del Marie, and they had been on PTA meetings together because their daughters both went to the same school. So that's how we became friends. Del Marie was looking for a BNI, hadn't decided. And I said, hey, you should join this one. We're forming. It's going to be great. We get to make our own rules. I didn't know that. True. But anyway, we had a great time starting a chapter and getting loud and getting put in place about things that we shouldn't do, that we couldn't do. had as many as 65 members, and now we're right around 25.
Okay, great. And I was just gonna ask you, as a realtor, I like to do kind of a quick check-in on what's going on in the East Bay real estate market that we might want to know about as a home buyer. And I know you kind of keep tabs on what's going on around there, and also how you might be able to navigate some of those issues if there are any.
Yeah, thank you. For the sellers that have been sitting on the fence, and I know that the interest rate they may have from COVID is very low. However, if you're planning to do any type of moving in the next year, you should do it. You should never wait time to buy real estate. You just have to find the right property. So we are always working with first-time home buyers as well as top-notch sellers who are living in Rockridge or Montclair. And right now, you can get a great deal for your house. We just we're in contract on an Upper Rockridge house right now, as well as we'll just help a first-time home buyer get $210,000 to buy a house in Oakland, which people don't know where that money is, and we can help you find it.
Okay, great. And I will put the link to your website. If you do your research on Eloise on the ground or online, you'll see that she's definitely the person to know in the East Bay for real estate, or one of a small group of really elite agents there. And um, one thing we also like to showcase on this show, Eloise, is just people's kind of secrets to success. And I've heard you talk about some of these in B&I, just about, how you've really built your business, what's kind of some of the keys to your success in life and business.
Okay. Yeah, so my keys to success is stay focused. Don't lead by your emotions. The world is always changing and you can't change it. You have to decide what you're going to work with and what you're not going to work with. As a mother and a parent, I realized early in life that I can only set examples. I can't make people do anything, but I can definitely, I like to lead by example, and that's in everything that I do. I'm not just a bench warmer at my church. I do a lot of things there as well. I'm not just a bench warmer and I do a lot of things there. This year, I get to be the mentor coordinator. I'm totally looking forward to helping people grow and really inhale B&I and what all B&I can do for them.
Great. Yeah. And if people haven't visited that chapter, Visions of Exchange, do come. It's in person the first Thursday of the month. It is a bit early at 7 a.m. down at the Sound Room on Broadway in Oakland. And it's really a special group. It's just a lot of fun, but you see how they all learn from each other. And it's really a really special group. So come visit us sometime. And I'll put the link to, if you want to visit that chapter, in the chat or in the comments. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Cory. If you have any comments on that chapter, Cory, I know it's really one of the legendary chapters in the area. I remember early on you telling me about it. And
Yeah, I think as I said in the last segment, how every chapter has its own culture, and Visions is loud, and it can be a little overwhelming for people. I remember when we were at that kind of 65 number, and people would sometimes the guests would come in and just be like, "Okay, this is way too much for me," and then some people just love it, and that's just the way it works. I'm in a chapter now that I think there's a little bit of bleed over from Visions of Exchange, but we do not. We're much more, what did I call it? More, I don't want to say laid back, more formal.
yeah, that's a good way of putting it. It's really finding the right character. I'd say that is one of the more bit wilder chapters in terms of people being outspoken, which I really like. So
yeah, like talk about Success Link, which was I kind of always a much more caring chapter, right? Go slowly, and so yeah, everybody finds their own space, and sometimes having that loud energy just really helps to talk today and the week. So I strongly encourage people to check out all these chapters and enjoy what they bring to the table, even if there's your competition in the room. It's still worth meeting people. So my question for you, Eloise, is why real estate? What is your connection to that? What charge you feel about it?
I was born in North Carolina. I'm the 10th child of 14, and my parents had their own house. So we've never rented a house before. So since I was 13 years old. And if I felt that if my parents who raised 14 children can buy real estate, I certainly could do the same thing. So I bought my first piece of real estate at the age of 26, and I've purchased many properties since then. And my goal is to, and most of my business in the beginning were single women, helping them navigate through the industry and buy their first house. We are, I believe, so beyond buying. The gap is just so wide between the minority and the majority of buying houses that we have to mindset that you can buy, and you can. But how do you do that? There's a strategy. There are first-time home buyer classes we have access to with HUD certification counselors who tell people how to start, how to budget, everything that goes into that process. We guide them through that. I'm telling you, when you get to your journey, when it's there, you're like, oh my God, I actually made it. Like 2 days ago, I just gave someone their keys. It's like, oh my God, I'm here. I'm here. It was so hard, but I'm here. I was like, of course, it's a journey. It's not a sprint.
I remember when I was a kid, I mean, I just kind of grew up as, home ownership was just perfectly natural. But I remember there was an article about a family in Antioch, and it was an immigrant Mexican family and 10 kids. And they just worked and worked and worked, and the kids worked, and they, delivered newspapers and sold lemonade, and they just piled all their money together, and they bought a house. And it was a really big deal. I had the first time home ownership and the family, and ever since that story, it just inspired me to realize that there's always a way. It's great to know that there are people who want to help make that happen for people. Which leads me to the next question is, so what is something about the success story of Visions of Exchange? What has made that successful in BNI?
What I believe the success story is being transparent, making sure that you are doing exactly what you expect the members to do. I'm also a part of BNI Keller Williams. We have our own BNI circle. So when we go to our conferences, we have a meeting. We have the same BNI setup that we have on Thursdays, or for us Thursdays. And what that did was that helped me navigate pick up new ideas from that big group of people from all over the country. We're from Florida, New York, Alabama, Texas, Austin, Texas, Houston, Texas, all the cities, and Austin. I decided to be the president, not because I was just so excited about, I want to be the president. No, because I felt there was a need, and I felt that I could fill it. And I felt that since thought I could do it, then everybody, do you know we didn't have to pull teeth this year to get people in to do leadership? Everybody wanted to do leadership. Oh, I want to do it. I want to do it because we made it exciting. We inhaled it. And you have to do that in leadership. Lead by example.
Awesome. I did not know about that Keller Williams thing. I've been trying to do something similar with coaches, but it's a little harder to get together. But we'll use that as some inspiration. And who would you say then is your ideal client?
My ideal client is a seller, buyer who are motivated, who are committed to their dream. They're buying another investment property or downsizing. I'm talking to people all the time about your life-changing experiences. There are elderly people who are like, oh, I got so many stairs, I can't do this. I said, so when are you going to decide that you need to move when you can't walk? You have to do it now. You can't wait till you're not physically or mentally able to do it. So we have this conversation, and I can help you through that process.
And so what would you say are really like some of the, we heard a little bit about the Oakland market, but just kind of the area overall, and what do you recommend people, how do they get started if they want to buy?
We're already there. we got to go upward. So in essence, we have right now more properties on the market than we've had. So we have like 2 months of inventory, and we've never had that. Although 2 months of inventory does not make it a buyer's market, it is still a seller's market. But we've only had a month of inventory for a couple of years, but now it's 2 months of inventory. And since real estate is seasonal, we expect that to happen for the fourth quarter. And so now it's time for the real estate agents to start their business planning for 2024. Contact all your people, make sure you connect with them during the entire holidays. So that's when you'll start putting people in the pipeline for 2024. You may not see as many sales, but you will have people in the pipeline on the first quarter.
Excellent. Well, I say if you do a job well done, we usually end about 10 minutes early. And what I mean by that is very succinct and to the point answers, which you gave us, Eloise. So there really is no early or late, but we can just about wrap up. And I'll just say we look forward to bringing on some of your colleagues there at Visions of Exchange. I know we have Jesse Schmidt, the incoming president, scheduled, and we're going to get some more folks from Visions to talk about that chapter. And I'd say probably the best way to describe that chapter is outspoken and open. Nobody's really hiding anything in there. You guys are all buddies, and you trust each other, so you can be kind of real and really have a good time, so to speak. So.
And let me add, I am super excited about Jesse being the president. He's young, he's energetic, he's organized, he's got a great business, and he's got his head on right. And so we are going to go way above the next level for 2024. Just watch out.
Good. I look forward to seeing it and being part of it. And we'll keep in touch with you and bring you back at some point in 2024.
All right, David. Thanks.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
So,
Okay.